If you have not watched the Zelensky-Trump meeting, you got to go see it. Here is where I break it down and provide political context as to what went down. Body language, conversation, hands gestures, everything. You want to watch the whole video? Go somewhere else. And I want to say before we get started, this is all JD Vance's fault. You're going to love this. Now, all week, we've been talking about how France and England corrected Trump when he tried to lie. First, it was France, when the French President Macron put his hand on Trump's arm to correct him. Watch President Macron's face when he sees Trump is lying, and watch Trump's face once it's found out he's been lying.
Just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back.
No, in fact, to be frank, we paid 60% of the total effort, and it was through, like the US, loans, guarantee, grants, and we provided real money. To be clear,
go back and watch it. Look at when Macron catched the lie, and look at when Trump found out he's been lying, and he do that little hand crap. He was lying. That's been all over the news. Then come Britain's prime minister, who did the same thing.
We wanted to have a little bit of what the European nations said. You know, they get their money back by giving money. We don't get the money back. Biden made a deal. He put in $350 billion, and I thought it was a very unfair situation.
We're not getting all of ours. I mean, quite a bit of ours was gifted. It was given. There were some loans, but mainly it was gifted, actually.
Another lie. Now, again, all week this has been going on. It was France and it was England. Both of them had to correct him in his lies. And by a lot of people saying Trump has been corrected is making him look weak and ineffective. No doubt JD saw this and he thinks he's a smooth politician, so he wanted to try to do what? Protect his master. Now here come Ukraine's president, Zelensky. They don't like him. It's been contentious, and Trump really wants to side with Russia, and he needs anything that's going to get him to go further into Russia's camp. Again, tensions are high, and this is toward the end of the press meeting and the meeting with everybody. This is toward the end, and you know, people are frustrated because they've been sitting there. Now watch the body language and watch what Trump says and how he says it when he's talking about friends between Russia and Ukraine.
And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that.
I cut out a lot before that, but you can hear people trying to laugh and clap because that's the vice president, the secretary of defense, a lot of other people in Trump's administration around trying to rally Trump. But Zelensky's not there to play. And Trump is trying to lighten this thing up, and it's just not working. You saw Zelensky's body language. And this is why I think JD's at fault, because he tried to expound on Trump's answer.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
In expounding on the answer, JD talked about how bad Biden was. Again, he's trying to play politics. He's talking about how bad Biden was during the time that they attacked in 2022. But what JD Vance didn't realize was this goes all the way back to 2014. And way back in 2014, they tried to do what JD was talking about. They tried peace negotiations, but Vladimir Putin violated those peace negotiations. So Zelensky checked him.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
The reason why Trump stood up and said 15, Trump only cares about his legacy. So watch how that plays out. And he's corrected again.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed.
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
The man has been on the front lines, and by him not dressing in a suit for the last 4 or 5 years, that's politics. He's showing that he's for his people and he's not in a suit because he's in the fight. That's politics. But JD Vance got showed up in front of Ukraine, in the White House, in front of the president. They both got corrected. By Zelensky answering the way that he did, JD knows he fucked this up. Now he got to fix it.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
JD is well aware of those cameras, and Zelensky got him. And when Zelensky went back and folded his arms, he's in a defensive posture. He's just as angry, but his accent don't convey that. But if he was speaking Russian or whatever dialect he's speaking, he would get it out. But let's continue.
Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
JD knows he's messed this up. So that's why he changes the subject to being grateful and having gratitude. And then he points at the president to try to get the president back involved. But Trump is sitting back. He's trying to figure this whole thing out. Trump is still confused as to what's going on. But Trump also knows those cameras are there. And again, Zelensky's been on the front lines. So he calls JD out and say, how many times have you been there? Watch JD's answer.
I've been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have.
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
He read books and he saw it on TV. He's not been there. Then he goes out and tries to get loud and points. JD is pointing not at Zelensky, he's pointing at the president. He really wants Donald Trump to get back in this. But again, Donald Trump don't know what's going on. That's why he's sitting there silently watching. He's still trying to process it. I'm going to tell you what he's doing in a minute. Watch how Zelensky returns the favor.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Zelensky's mad and he made fun of Donald Trump. That's when Donald Trump snapped out of it. He said, you don't feel it right now because you've got a nice ocean. Remember when Donald Trump said, hey, we got oceans, they don't? Zelensky was making fun of Trump. That's when Trump gets into this. And the other reason why Trump stepped in is because JD has taken control of not only the conversation, but the cameras. Trump don't like that. The whole reason why Trump was quiet is he was double dutching. He was trying to find his way into the conversation and he found it. And watch how it shifts. And it was all because of JD saying, how dare you come to the White House and blah, 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 blah.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you think
You're
about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
Me?
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
answer.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Remember when I said Trump needed an out to go side with Russia? That whole conversation was him saying, hey, that's why I'm supporting Russia. So now over the next couple of days and weeks and months or however long this plays out, you're going to hear Republicans and MAGA saying, hey, this is why we should not support Ukraine. Come back for part 2. I'm uploading that right now.